shrimp. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the secrets I've come up with catching shrimp using a bait ball. We use what's called bait binder to mix up our bait balls with. I'll put a picture up there. I'll put a link down in the video description below. But the secret comes in the end of this video, so stay tuned to the end. First thing we're going to do though is we're going to walk through some normal processes people use to catch shrimp using the bait ball. But then that's a good one. Stay tuned to the end. I'll show you what secret I came up with. But let's go ahead and go over some of the things we do trying to catch shrimp. Let's do it.
All right, let's say this is your bait ball right here, which it is a bait ball. Most people use a stick in the water. Let's say we're out in the water. You put your stick down, your shrimp pole, and you go along in the boat, and you come off so far because you're going to be throwing the net, and you throw the bait ball down. That creates a couple problems. One, if the tide's running, that thing could take right off. Two, you don't know where it's going to land. That tide's running, it'll just pull it down this way. It'll shift around, fish trying to eat it, whatever, it could shift around. So it might not stay right where you drop it. So that's the first issue right there. All right, people don't realize this, but when you pull these baits up, the shrimp really haven't eaten a lot of the bait. So if you actually put it in a bag and tie it off on a string from the pole, you could actually use it over and over. You can put it in the freezer and use it again. So this is the second thing we came up with. Tying it off a certain distance from the pole, bring it out, drop it against the tide so it won't go any further, and put a weight on it so it stays right there. You know that bait's going to stay right there. And that did work, but we've come up with something even a little better. Let's check it out. All right, one more quick thing. These are clam bags, and I'll put a link down in the video description. These are the best bags to use right here. What I did try to use bags like this, and they ate these bags up. They are no good. Do not use those bags right there. All right, the poles work, but they got to be a pain to us. You got to wrap them all up. You got to put it in here. You got to bait it up. So we come up with another better idea, I think. This is what's called a crab trot line. But we use it for the shrimp. Now here we go. We've got these baits. We got like 20 of these in a 100-foot section coming along here. And what happens is when you throw that cast net, you can see the buoy at both ends. You can actually put a buoy in the center so you can kind of get a guide where they're at. When you come off that first buoy and you throw your net, you're going to be on the bait ball. Even if you're using like a 12-foot net, you'll still hit one of these bait balls. At least one, maybe two. So that's what we've come up with for a better system than the poles. Now, if you can't use a trot line like this, you certainly could use, and if you got a certain number of baits you can use, take two poles, stretch a rope between two poles, and put 10 baits in between the poles. Then you see each end of the pole, you know those baits are lined up right between the poles. You just throw that cast net right in between the two poles. You can put them 5 feet apart, 10 feet apart, whatever you want to do. You can have 50 feet every 10 or 100 feet every 10 foot apart. And so you know you'll definitely be throwing on a ball each time as you go down. Now, let's talk about the bait balls themselves. All right, what you got here is bait balls that I had frozen from last year. And yes, you can use it over and over. Now, what we're going to do is a little secret here. We're going to add some new bait binder here to it. Mix up a big batch. We're going to make about 20 baits and put them in the freezer for this year and be ready. But we're going to do something this year that's going to save us a lot of money and a lot of time. What we're going to do this year is put a golf ball in the center of it. Let me mix all this up. We'll go ahead and show you what we do. Look how much that's going to save, because normally, like I said, the shrimp only eat, when you get a bait ball and you put it in the water, when you come back out, it's normally only like a quarter inch eating off all the way around. And maybe a half at the most, but sometimes you can't hardly see where they've been eating on it. But they're in there eating on it. So, if we put the golf ball in the center, look how much that is going to save us. And look how much bigger we're going to make them here. We'll just do this one right here real quick. Even this one hasn't been remixed yet. But look at that. It's that much bigger. And we can use it over and over. Just redo it every time. Now, one thing we're going to do. This is normally just mixed with water. But what I use about a 50-50 menhaden oil and water to mix it up. So we'll be putting a little bit of this in here. Let's go ahead and mix all this up really good. Put a little bit of secret ingredient in it. And go ahead and make a few of these balls. Let's do it. Here we go. Alright, got this to the consistency we want. So now we're going to take a golf ball. And we're going to surround this thing with our stuff. We don't want it quite that thick, probably. But nice and big and thick. Big, nice ball right there. Now, a lot of it's taken up by the golf ball, so you're not losing that much space there. You don't want to stick it down inside this. Make it a little bit smaller so it fits in there good. It takes less to do it now that we got the ball in it. Alright, that's a good size right there, I think. I just made one that's perfect. Alright, right there. That way you can grab it right here with your tie on the net right there and be good to go. Alright, let's try another one. Here we go. Don't have to need, does not have to be that much because you're only getting a nice little covering on this ball. And that ball is saving you money because you don't have that in the center. They're not eating it anyway. I just got this outside going up. See, this is backwards here, so let's go like this way here. And perfect. That's a good size right there. Look at that. So we're going to make about 20 of these. And that should get us ready for this coming year. We got about 20 on the baits on the line, on my mini crab trot line. It's only 100 foot. Normally I run a crab trot line, 300 foot on a crab trot line, but I made a 100 foot long one because I want to keep the buoys close together so we can see what's going on. You want to see each end really good so that you can throw the net between the two buoys. Look at that. The shrimp are going to love that. And like I say, these shrimp don't tear this netting up where they will tear up holes in other net and you'll lose it. Right there, they ain't going nowhere. This has been used I don't know how many times last year, so they work good. All right, that's 4 done. All right, we're going to get together and get a few more done here, and I'll show you in the end what we got. We might have to mix some more up to get what we want, but so far, it's looking good. Here we go. All right, as you see, we got 20 baits ready to go for this coming year. And the shrimp will be in a couple months here, but we're just getting prepared now. And we used 90% of last year's bait, so we're saving money. And using the golf balls even saves more money because you're using less bait than we did last year. This is a new concept I just came up with, and it's going to work. I can tell you that right now. Not a problem. Once we use this on one day, we'll bring them back, dump them back in there, mix them back up again, and put a little menhaden oil in it, and put them right back in there. And we'll be ready to go for another trip. All right. Let's get in here and just talk about what we did today and some of the little secrets and what you should be looking for. Here we go. All right, let's do a little wrap up on the secrets of the bait binder. Are y'all ready? Number 1, you can use the bait over and over and over. You would think that once that bait goes in the water, it would just disintegrate or the water would mess it up. It doesn't. You bring it up out of the water. By the time you get home, it's to the point you just take it right out of the bag and mix it back up and put it back together however you want to do it. Sometimes you got to mix up a little bit more bait binder in with it. Maybe a little bit of that juice. Y'all remember that other secret? The juice, the menhaden oil to mix in with it. I use about 50-50 or just a little bit. It helps kind of give it that flavor. But anyway, you can use it over and over. Last year, what you saw me mix up right here today was used multiple times last year and it worked just as good. So use your bait over. It's going to save a lot of money. Next thing, if you're going to use it over, you got to get it back, right? Clam bags work the best. I've tried all kind of different bags, mesh bags, little thin bags, all kind of bags, and those shrimp would tear some of them bags to pieces. They got really sharp horns on them, and when they're eating, I guess they just rip it apart. They can't rip those clam bags apart. And I'll put a link down below. That's the ones that use. Those clam bags are the secret. Now, when we had them next to the pole, we used to put weights to them and all hold down. If you use my method of on a line, and you got the little bungee cord that you just pull it together to hook it on with, it's easy to take them on and off, and you know exactly where the bait is. When you use those baits next to a pole,
that bait can shift depending on the tide. You might be throwing over nothing. You gotta throw, that net has got to get over top of that bait, or you're not gonna catch that many shrimp. You're gonna still catch a few swimming around, but when you want to catch a lot of shrimp, you got to get that net over the bait. Makes a huge difference. Anyway, what we want to do next? What's next here? Using the rope with the baits on it. Now, I can use a trot line. I got to get a license for that to use it, but I do that. And I know in South Carolina you're going to use like 10 baits or something, but I don't see why you couldn't use 2 poles with a line between them, 100 feet apart, and use one every 10 foot. When you look between them 2 poles, you know there's a bait right there every time you're going to hit it. That was my thought for some other states. Different states have different rules, so you have to find out the rules, make sure you're within the regulations and all. But the bait, getting the bait on the shrimp on the bait is a key. So there's a lot of things you can do to make that happen. The final thing, now I haven't actually done it, show y'all something to do it here, but to save the bait is using a golf ball in the center. So many times we pulled the bait up last year, and it looked like they hadn't ate it, but we've been throwing it all day, been all over it, but they hadn't really tore it up to the point they ate it all. Once in a while we'll get one that's eat down, but 90% of the time it's just a 1/4 inch off the outside edge, so you can take it, redo it, wrap it up, and do it again. With the golf ball inside, you're able to get, I don't know, I didn't calculate the percentages, but probably 20% more out of your bait. Instead of 20, you might, get a lot more than out of that, how many you're making up. So I think the golf ball is the key. The golf ball sink. You don't want to put like a ping pong ball because it might make it float up or something. Golf ball sinks with it so it stays right on the bottom so the shrimp eat it and you just throw it in there right on top of it. Anyway, that's it. I hope some of these little secret tips helps y'all catching the shrimp and get some good eating. Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming along. Don't forget to click like, comment below, share, subscribe to the Gigmaster, and we got some more secrets coming up and some more adventures. Stay tuned.